Welcome, everyone. I have with me Dr. Emily here, and I am Sabrina Protic. We are with WOIII, and we are here to welcome you to our weekly Wisdom Live, brought to you by none other than WOIII, Women of Impact and Innovation International, honoring wisdom while building the next generation of innovative women leaders. Each month, we will be focusing on one topic, and each week, we will be diving deep into different aspects of that topic. This month's topic is Women CEOs, Business and Leadership. And today, Dr. Emily and I are going to take one aspect of that, and that is going to be women CEOs. I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Emily, and she and I will bounce this topic back and forth as she mentions the good, the bad, and the ugly. Go ahead, Dr. Emily.
Well, hello everybody from all over the world. It is absolutely my honor and my pleasure to be on here. And I was just chatting with Sabrina earlier. I go, "Did you see my scrub? I got Scooby Doo on here." Well, one of my favorite quote, and I had a little sign on the magnet is a woman CEO has to dress like a man, act like a woman, and work like a dog. So that's why I wanted to reference Scooby Doo here, because we there's so much expected of us, and so much that we expect it ourselves, and I think there's a myth to that we need to debunk a little bit. During the pandemic, I kind of got bored, so I got invited to write a book with another dentist up in Canada, and our book was called "The Modern Woman to Have It All Without Sacrifice."
Hmm.
And when I'm talking to my coach, Dan Kennedy, he's a marketer and a business guru, he started telling me that you're controversial. And I go, I didn't think I was controversial. It is what it is. It is what I write. And one of the main insight in that book is, you got to be that great wife, and you got to be that wonderful daughter, and you got to be that best mom. And do you have to be all of it? Or is it that's what society and community expect from you, or you think they expect from you, and then you're striving to do all of this? I don't think there's any. I don't know. I'm not in a lot of the men conversation, but I seriously doubt that there is a male conversation about being the best dad and being the best husband and being the best son. But yet for us, that just it's something that we just take on ourselves, right? If you chat with anybody, any of the ladies, you probably hear the weekends coming up. What am I doing for my family? Right? I'm probably cleaning up the house. I'm getting ready for Fourth of July. I'm inviting the kids over. My friends, my kids' friend, and I'm going to take care of 20 kids. But you don't hear the men saying that. Maybe they say they're going to cut the lawn. I don't know, or they're gonna get together for basketball. Uh, and so as we emerge as CEOs of our business, I think that's the number one thing I think that as a challenge is to make sure that that's what we want and that we prioritize ourselves so we are not trying to do five things at the same time, be in three places at the same time, and get stressed and start thinking that this entrepreneurial, this CEO thing is not for me. Let's just have a guy handle it. What do you think?
No, I absolutely agree with that. Our to-do list actually is different from men anyway, because we're nurturers. We're in the kitchen, we're in the laundry room, sometimes we're the taxi, we're everything. And so when a man talks about his position as CEO, his to-do list is a little bit different. His may be more administrative or more hands-on inside of his company, but he may not be balancing all of the women type things that naturally that women do. We're nurses, right? How many times, Dr. Emily, did you have a sick kid that you had to deal with while you were running your business? Is that true?
Well, I'll tell you a quick story. I was on an airplane. We won't name which airplane. Somebody got sick. Somebody was just coughing, right? And I happened to sit in the in a row in front of this person. So then the whole air crew got over and they got their stuff out and they gave this person oxygen and all that. And we're trying to take the temperature. Like, this is this person actually sick? Maybe have an infection. Um, Guess who has the thermometer?
You was it your mom?
I'm thinking, I'm sitting there like, this is none of my business. And they're searching for the thermometer, and I know exactly where mine was. Right? It's it, it
Wow.
it's in that bag that I have with me, together with, the little Neosporin,
That
like
is
all of
funny.
these things that only mom carry. So of course I gave them the thermometer, and it's like, don't ask, right? And it just it speaks to what we do, like you just said. The men go to work and they CEO, and they're going to take care of the team and all these
Yes,
admin
yes.
work. Well, the women do the exact same thing. We just don't name it. We just say we're going to go to work and be the CEO. But at the same time, if the kid got sick at school, like you said, we're answering the phone. One time I had school call me. School is out 2:30, and they're calling me at, I don't know, 1:55, and they say, "Can you pick up your kid?" And I'm, I'll be there in 30 minutes. And they said, "No, can you come pick up your kid?" And like, apparently we had a little accident, right?
Oh wow.
So I got there, and he peed in his pants. But anyway, I got there. It was funny because he was sitting on the little bib in the nurse's room, and I'm looking at him, and he said, "Yeah, I didn't go to the bathroom during break," right? Because he was having too much fun. But these are the things that
So
we get called for, and we actually drop everything and go pick up the kid, right?
we do. And Dr. Emily, to that point, it totally train wrecks and derails the man if he had to do that. They respond to that quite differently. And with the women, it's not even a question. It's not even a question. You're going to stop what you're doing. You're going to go get your kid. Last week, I had grandma duties, so I'm a CEO, and my daughter was visiting. The whole house got sick. Well, she, her husband, and the kids got sick. That a stomach virus. So you know what that meant. Stuff
Right,
was coming out of everywhere, right?
right.
And I had an appointment. I had a Zoom appointment with a business client. And one of the parents were too sick to care for the kids. I am taking care. This kid was literally on my lap right here. And I still did the appointment. And I explained to my business person that this child was sick and this was the best I could do. And I showed up.
Hmm.
I showed up and did it. Now, I don't think my husband would have wanted to do that. What I'm saying is there's a difference in men and women. They'd have said, somebody come get this kid, right?
Exactly, exactly. Because I think that's a good part about being the CEO for us as women is we will show up in whatever shape or form, right? And
That's right.
we are proud to show up as is. If you got to have that sick grandkid in your lap, you're gonna do it,
We're going to do
right?
it.
I when the kids were little, I remember one time I had a bad Yelp review, which that's okay. I'm not perfect for everyone, but somebody and you know how sometimes you get fake reviews for business.
Yes.
Well, this review was, what kind of dentist come back late to work because she goes pick up her kids from school, right? And
Oh,
my staff were, and I said, you know what? That's a real patient. You know, I probably came back from picking up my kids and I ran late, and the patient decided to go vent on that. Had nothing to do with my dentistry, obviously. And of course, I ran late, and I don't have any issue with that because sometimes when you go to school to pick up your kids, the line's too long, right? The things happen, but yes, I physically left the office to go pick up my kid, and I did that for 18 years, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. You name it. Dr. Letron coming back late from this. Dr. Letron had to do this for the kid. This is this. But who get to do that? Only the CEO, the one that owned the business, control their own schedule, mess up their own schedule, and still show up the next day. So I have the dental office for almost 26 years. I recently sold it because I moved,
Ah,
and of course bought another one. But anyway, that's another story. Uh, and
well,
I was chatting with this couple, and I said, I remember you came in with your daughter, um, and so there's like two generation in the office. Can you just say a quick video, about your family being here? And she started out, well, Dr. Letron, there are four generations in this family, and I'm just like, what? She started naming her dad and herself and her daughter and her grandkid, right? And the reason I'm sharing that is, hey, just go up and mess things up and just just be the CEO that you do best, and you got four generations of customers with you. So it speaks very loud to who you are and the value you deliver. And sometimes what happens is some of us CEOs, we get so hang up. Well, I want to be just like that male CEO because he does things this way, right? And I need to do this because this is the expectation. Well, you know what? Show up and do you. You're
I
the
like that.
CEO version of you. And it could be the messy CEO at work or the messy mom at home. It doesn't really matter. I think as long as you're happy and you're doing your best and you're okay with yourself.
I like that. And I'd like to talk a minute about what a woman CEO is not. So typically, and I'm talking to maybe the younger generation when they envision themselves owning their own company. It just sounds so wonderful and good. And they pictured themselves wearing their red bottom shoes, sitting on a desk with their legs crossed and, hair to a T. Is that a woman CEO, Dr.
That sounds
Emily?
like a Netflix show to me.
Can we weigh in on the reality, because that's only a photo.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That sounds like a Netflix show to me. I think a CEO is so somebody said the CEO stand for chief officer of everything, right? I mean, they shift the words a little bit, which means you do everything, especially when you're in the startup. You just got a new business, right? If the phone ring and there are three phone lines, maybe you're the one picking it up, right? If somebody could not come in, your employee no show, maybe you start out, you have two or three employees, you're going to be training the other person to fill in that void, right? And a CEO is somebody who will really sacrifice to grow the business. And the reality of it is, you grow with that role and you make it what it is. And make sure, so for me, it's very big in the high performance coaching thing program that I do is you got to be in alignment, right? If you're portraying the red bottom shoe, what is the product or service that you're delivering? Because I don't think that too many of us in general delivering the kind of service or product that you need to wear red bottom shoe. I don't know. I mean, as a healthcare professional, I'm not wearing that thing, right? Because
Me
you,
either.
yeah, you got like by law, you got to cover your whole foot, But I'm just joking. But my point is that in alignment with who you are, right? I know everybody say, fake it till you make it. Well, but what do you want? Because I mean, you can fake it as in you project confidence while you're still learning, right? Maybe you have 50% confidence, you're going to try to project 90%. To me, that's not faking it. To me, that's trying to grow into the role. And like my daughter just graduated from dental school. I told her, go to work with me and I'm going to start introducing you as Dr. Jennifer, right? But no, you cannot work yet because we're waiting for her license to come in. And I know this is going to be a lot of fun watching this kid trying to grow into that role of owning the office. Um, but at the same time, I'm teaching her that role of CEO. It's it's not something that it has to be earned, right? The respect has to be earned, and being able to have patients or customers in whatever business you have, that's a privilege. And once we understand that, we just look at the role a little different, right? I love to have all of our young people coming on and already practicing servant leadership. It's not about the red bottom shoe. It's not about the big oak table, the corner office, whatever you want to call it. Um, it's about work, and it's about making it to what you want it to be, and that usually is work.
It's
There's no other way around it. Yeah.
exactly. And a good idea, a good illustration of that is both of us are working today. You're getting ready to go to work. I've already got 3 or 4 hours in. I just got off of a business Zoom. I am working. So for me, for you and I, we are working CEOs. And Dr. Emily's ready to hit it when she's done with this, right?
Yeah, and this laptop lifestyle that people talk about. Well, there you go. You just had 3 hours of your laptop lifestyle,
I have had,
and
and
I and
yeah,
I don't think it wasn't on a yacht or anything, or by the ocean side. And maybe you're gonna do that when you take a vacation, but the majority of people just don't do that kind of thing, right?
no, no, no,
Yes,
no.
yes. I don't. I want people to look for a role model, to look for somebody that they respect, and certainly join our tribe and come to our events. You can see what the real women CEO look like. We come in all shape or form. We put on an event and we laugh and we cry, and maybe the mic doesn't work. Well, that's not what happened. I'm just giving this an example, right? Or we all show up to a place to have dinner, and dinner is yet to come, right?
Mhm.
These things happen because we are chipping in, we are doing it ourselves. We are not the kind of person, we're not in that big corporate role. Maybe some people are, but in that big corporate role where you say, okay, I'm just going to delegate this to this team, that team, and somebody else going to take care of you. We are the one that create our own business. So we are in the business, and sometimes there are multiple businesses going on, whether it's like for me, brick and mortar, and then there's the virtual aspect of it, and then the live events and things like that. um, what I want people to understand, especially the younger generation, is decide what you want to do, and stick with it. It's a learning process. You will enjoy the process, and just make sure that you know what you're getting into, because like you said, it's not the clamor,
Mm-mm.
right? Certainly not the power. Just wait until your kid call you and there's no power there.
Yeah, that's when we realize we don't really have the power, right?
So it and but you choose to be who you want to be, and who you serve, and what kind of a boss you are, right? I remember we were having, it was Halloween, and so we were dressing up in the office, and I don't know, I just took one of the SpongeBob costume, the one that just go over your head, and here's
Yes.
SpongeBob from the kids. And I just show up to work. And I clearly remember a patient was in the front asking one of my staff, so which one is the doctor, right? And she point over there and she goes, SpongeBob over there. It's the
That's so
doctor,
funny.
you know, because you should just have fun, and you don't have to be addressed as a CEO all the time. If you're going to be in front of a board, if you're going to be out there pitching for your company, if you're going to be on public platform, be that big shot CEO, right? Going back to your office, do the work, do the work, do the work. That's where the bad and the ugly happen for you to get to the good.
And I agree with that. And then let's be realistic about the commitment of a CEO. We have to be there when nobody else shows up. You mentioned somebody doesn't show up. I've been in restaurants and things where they're the manager was waiting tables because, servers didn't show up. So a CEO has to show up. And not only show up, there has to be a commitment. So I can't think of too many businesses that started and in 1 year they hit the big time. So a woman CEO realizes that there's going to be some work inside of there, and it's going to take you a couple of years to develop your business, whether it's products or services. whatever that is, it's going to take a lot of dedication and time to achieve the results that you want to achieve. We have to be realistic about that. Businesses start every day. So the successful female CEO, like Dr. Emily, when they speak, if you've ever heard her speak, and I have many times, outstanding speaker, she talks about her journey from even the point when the children told her, "Mom, we never see you." Do you remember saying that? You right? And you had to do some tweaking in your schedule. Do you remember sharing that story that, but she was all in. She was pouring all in. We have to pour in to achieve the results. As no one's going to give you anything. It is going to be grunt work at times. You might be on and wearing sneakers running 100 miles a minute. I know, like Miss Crystal, Lady Crystal, she was in Turkey this week, still running her business from Turkey, sending me emails and text messages and running things overseas, because that's what is going to be required of you to have a successful business. Yes, we have to have that work-life balance, but we still have to be involved in our business. Like you said, Dr. Emily, we are working inside of our businesses, and that's what's required of a woman CEO.
Yes, absolutely. And my mom, my business mom, Sharon Lecter, she say there's no such thing as work life balance, and I agree with that, because sometimes that balance, it's just at that time,
Yes,
right? Where you make a decision, for the next hour, for the next 2 days, I'm just going to focus on this. And that might be that balancing time for that particular moment. At some point where we grow and we have, massive number of people working for us, then maybe you don't have to do all that. But guess what? As an entrepreneur, we grow up to that level, we're probably going to go start something else, which is,
that
look
is
who,
so
look who's talking, right? And it's like I was telling my friend, yeah, so then I sold that office. They go, great. So what are you going to do right now? Well, I already bought the other one. So and because that's our nature. And so the other part of being a CEO is to grow leaders. Your leader, whatever style, type of leader you are, grow the team who will become leaders, who can take over the torch when you're not there, who can create that legacy for you. Maybe your kid is going to step in to your business. Like, I'm very proud that Jennifer became a dentist. But even if Jennifer did not become a dentist, I would have created the business where the business would run, right? Because I'm over here trying to doing the coaching and the speaking and the traveling, and I make that decision. And I know there are people who don't like to make that decision. There are people who want to just stay there and till they die. We have a joke
right, right.
among dentists. I'm going to die by the chair. you know, and, and I'm okay. That's what you choose to do. There are other things that you can do. There are other things that you can leverage that knowledge and create additional income, which is one of the reasons why I get into the coaching and consulting, because I can use the same knowledge that I already learned to grow a different business. And that's what a lot of us can do as CEOs. You go through that journey, you learn or you create the system, then you share that knowledge. Maybe we can all be, those speakers, influencers, advisors, thought leaders, trailblazers in our own industry. And so it's not just the local CEO, it's the global CEO.
It
If you
is.
if you choose if you choose to do that.
I love that. And you mentioned things that accompany us, developing leaders and speakers, but a lot of us have written books that complement our businesses. That's another thing. You'll find that a lot of women CEOs will also become authors, because that is another extension of what we do. And we certainly want to encourage that. That makes you an authority in your field. It validates you. Imagine running a company and still having time to write a book. I mean, I don't know, but Dr. Emily's writing a book while she's on vacation. What did you say you did? You took the time to write a book. What were you doing, Dr. Emily?
Well, it was during COVID, and I had planned an event, live event, and then I ended up canceling it because California was going back and forth. You can only have 10 people gathering. you can only have 20 people gather, you know. And I was going back and forth, back and forth. So finally, I just said, forget it. You know, I'm just going to go virtual. And I have never done a virtual event before, right? And then I was on another forum, and this other dentist, we were just kind of chatting, and then he invited me to co-write a book, and I go, okay, fine, I'm going to write a book about women. And he's, we to write a book about women, and I said yes. And you can just do a little, you know, viewpoint from a guy, and guess what? I took over the whole damn project. I wrote up the table of content, and I go, I'm writing these chapters, you're writing those chapters, and because the guy he just can't decide what to write on. So I said, these are the you know, these are the topics. You just write it, and then he just, guess what? He just followed my lead. Um, and sometimes you have to do that. Sometimes you may not ask to be the lead, but you just gonna step in and be the lead. And that's the other part of the CEO is I stepping up to the opportunity or just creating your own opportunity.
And people will gravitate to you. Not only the team that you're building, your clients, your customers, people that come hear you speak, they'll recognize those leadership skills in you. So today's woman CEO is a leader. She's
Absolutely. Absolutely. You have to be a leader, and if you don't know how, if you're not sure how, there are a lot of role models out there. You know, you may just watch a TED talk and you say that I want to be that. You join our group. Well, you're already in our group, but you follow us. You show up to the live events. And magic happen at the live event. Um, you know, you really get to know people, and you share secrets or resources, which is hard to share when you go, okay, let's go in a breakout room. You know, it's not the same. I recently hosted an event in Chicago, and there were not a lot of attendees. So I said, you know what? We're just going to broadcast this live so more people can watch us. So there we go. We just I just told my video, scream your account. We broadcasted on Facebook, LinkedIn, etc. And then when we were done, I took off with my son because he was doing an internship up there. And the speakers stay there in the room. And for the next few days, they were raving that that was the best part because they were all sitting there making it into a mastermind and exchanging ideas. So you got to be there in person because magic happens when you're there in person. And when our next event will be in Philadelphia, and it's the dates. Can you talk
Pittsburgh,
a little
August
bit about
25th. Yeah, August 25th through the 27th in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
that?
And
Hmm.
so, like you mentioned, showing up, let me weigh in on that for a second and then we'll close out. A leader shows up. So, there's a difference in volunteering for something and just being on the list and actually being involved. A leader leads, a leader is in the front, not behind. Uh, Dr. Emily and I decided last night she volunteered to do this live today, and here we are. That's leadership. That's not someone saying, well, yeah, I think I'll do it. Here's someone that is doing it. So let's be clear on what leadership is. It's not being on a committee, it's leading that committee. You can be on a committee, but a leader's out in front. They're taking charge. They're being seen. They showed up at that event, which, like you said, actually turned into a bigger event, but leaders were there. So be present. Dr. Emily, if it's okay with you, I'm going to go ahead and close this down. You have anything else to say before I close this down?
Yeah. Well, my final comment here is just go be a leader.
Love it. Love it. And follow Dr. Emily. So thank you so much for joining us today. And we hope that today's innovative nuggets of wisdom have inspired you to take action towards an even greater life. Join us each week live, or you can hit that replay, pound replay. For more information and to join us as a moderator, board member, or to attend our annual Powerful Women's Summit in August, which again is August 25th through the 27th in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Visit our website at womenoiii.com. That's women, WOMEN, womenoiii.com, or contact myself, Sabrina Prochick, or Crystal Richardson for details. Dr. Emily and I want you to have a great week and continue to live each day unapologetically with honor and gratitude. Remember, keep rising because, woman, you are powerful. We'll see you next time. Thank you, Dr. Emily. Thank all of you.
Thank
Goodbye.
you. Goodbye.